Welcome to Daily Crypto, episode 15.
Good to be here.
Let's jump straight into the market pulse. It looks like a bit of a mixed bag today. Bitcoin, well, it's hovering around $85,025, up just slightly, about 0.5%.
Yeah, and Ethereum's basically flat, isn't it? $1,587.62, up, 0.01%, barely moving.
Exactly. BNB, though, that's showing a bit more life, up 1.23%, sitting at $592.39.
Solana's also in the green, $134.27, up almost 1%. So the majors are kind of steady to slightly up mostly.
Well, but then you look at, say, XRP, it's down about 1.5% at $2.08.
Okay.
And Shiba Inu, also down just a tiny bit, 0.000001192.
And the other meme coins, always a bit wild there.
Yeah, Pepe's up a little, but Bong, that's taking a hit, down almost 2%, actually matching Ajit's price point there at 0.0000011.
Interesting.
Dogwiffat's slightly up, but Popcat's down nearly 2% as well. So yeah, definitely a mixed picture, especially in that meme coin space.
Yeah, that sector often just dances to its own tune, doesn't it? Very sensitive to, social media buzz and just general market sentiment shifts. More speculative, for sure.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of bigger moves, this A16's crypto news caught my eye. They apparently picked up $55 million worth of Layer Zero's ZRO tokens.
Wow, $55 million. That's substantial.
It is. And the really interesting part, a 3-year lockup.
3 years. Okay, that's not just a quick flip. That's a serious long-term bet.
Exactly. What does that signal to you?
Well, it screams conviction, right? You don't lock up that kind of capital for 3 years unless you fundamentally believe in the project's long-term value and likely its tech.
It's probably focused on their interoperability solution.
I'd say so. I mean, getting different blockchains to talk to each other smoothly, that's still a huge challenge. If Layer Zero has a solid approach, and A16 clearly thinks they might, that's a massive potential market. The lockup says they're willing to wait for it to mature.
Makes sense. Okay, shifting gears a bit. This Project 11 thing. Still trying to crack a Bitcoin key with a quantum computer.
Ah, yes, the Quantum Challenge. With the 1 BTC prize. It's still ongoing.
Is that something we should be genuinely worried about, like, soon? Or is it more academic at this stage?
Mostly academic for now. I mean, the consensus is that quantum computers capable of breaking current Bitcoin encryption are still quite a way off, but these projects are important. They push research into quantum-resistant algorithms. It's like preparing defenses for a threat that's on the horizon, even if it's distant.
Right. Better to prepare now. Okay, interesting. Now, over in the Tezos world, Etherlink's total value locked, their TVL. Apparently it surged, like 12-fold.
12 times, yeah, that's a huge jump. Seems it's tied to this Apple Farm incentive program they launched.
So incentives doing their job, basically.
Pretty much. DeFi incentive programs are, a classic way to bootstrap liquidity and attract users. Pour in rewards, get activity.
But can it last? That's always the question, right?
Yeah, exactly. The challenge is converting that initial incentive-driven interest into genuine sticky usage. You need users who stay after the sweetest rewards, taper off. So we'll have to see if Etherlink can build a sustainable ecosystem from this boost.
Got it. Okay, let's look at more traditional finance intersecting with crypto. The TSX, the Toronto Stock Exchange, right?
Yeah.
They've launched a Solana staking ETF. Ticker is SOLQ.
Yeah, that's another significant step for accessibility. An ETF provides that familiar, regulated wrapper.
So easier for folks who don't want to mess with wallets and keys.
Precisely. Institutions, regular retail investors, they can get exposure to Solana and even the staking rewards through their normal brokerage account. It lowers the barriers significantly.
And potentially brings more money into Solana.
That's the idea. More accessibility usually leads to more potential capital inflow. It legitimizes it further in the eyes of traditional finance.
Okay. And speaking of bridging worlds, BNB Chain is reportedly hosting a stablecoin, USD1, that's affiliated with Donald Trump.
Yes, that report surfaced. It's certainly an interesting development. Blends crypto with politics quite directly.
What are the implications there?
Well, it shows crypto becoming more mainstream, even entering the political fundraising or branding sphere. It also raises questions, how will it be used? What kind of regulatory lens will be applied, given the political connection? It's a new wrinkle.
Definitely one to watch. Now, predictions. There's always someone making a bold call. Apparently, a trader who supposedly nailed some big Bitcoin and Solana moves is now forecasting $5 for some crypto that's currently under 0.75 cents.
Laughs. Yeah, those kinds of predictions always grab headlines. A 20x gain. Very bold.
Should people pay attention?
Look, maybe the trader has a great track record, maybe they've done deep analysis, but it's still a prediction in a super volatile market. Past success doesn't guarantee future results, right? It's crucial people do their own research. Don't just jump on a bandwagon because of a forecast.
Sound advice. Always DYO, do your own research. Okay, let's talk meme coins again, specifically DOGE and a SHIB. News about potential ETF filings seems to be swirling.
That buzz is affecting prices. A SHIB is apparently looking towards 0.0000001 hen based on that hope.
But Dogecoin is down, reportedly dropped 3%.
Yeah, it seems like general market volatility might be hitting DOGE harder, or maybe the ETF speculation isn't lifting it the same way. It just shows how sentiment-driven and, frankly, unpredictable these coins can be. One rumor lifts one, general jitters drop another.
It's a wild ride. Back to Solana infrastructure.
Right.
Raydium. They've launched their own platform, LaunchLab, after splitting with Pump.Fun.
Right, that looks like Raydium trying to solidify its position as a key launchpad on Solana. They want to be the place for new tokens.
Control the process more, set their own rules.
Seems like it. By having their own platform, they can curate projects, set standards, maybe try to attract, higher quality launches compared to a more open platform. It's a strategic play in the ecosystem.
And still on Solana, Galaxy Digital proposed a new voting framework. Something about reducing Solana's inflation.
Yeah, that's an important governance discussion. Adjusting inflation is a core part of tokenomics.
Why is that significant?
Well, inflation impacts the token's supply, scarcity, and ultimately its potential value and attractiveness as an investment. Lowering inflation can be seen as positive by holders. Galaxy's proposal shows the community is actively thinking about optimizing Solana's economic model long term.
Okay, let's shift to regulation. Slovenia is looking at a crypto tax.
Reportedly, yes. A potential 25% tax on personal crypto profits.
Ouch. 25% is pretty steep.
It is, and it's part of that broader global trend, isn't it? Governments figuring out how to classify, regulate, and yes, tax crypto activities. It definitely could impact how people trade and invest in Slovenia if it goes through. Another piece of the evolving global regulatory puzzle.
Definitely. Now, something different, AI and crypto intersecting. Stanford's AI lab plans to use Theta Edge Cloud.
Yeah, for large language model research. That's fascinating.
How does that work?
Well, training big AI models takes massive amounts of computing power. Theta Edge Cloud is a decentralized network of shared computing resources. So Stanford can tap into this distributed network for their heavy-duty AI computations.
So blockchain providing compute power for AI.
Exactly. It's a great example of blockchain tech moving beyond just finance. Real-world utility for distributed networks.
Cool. And partnerships. Stellar and Aeon, bringing XLM and USDC payments to Southeast Asia.
That sounds promising for adoption. Southeast Asia is a huge market, especially for payments and remittances.
Using stablecoins like USDC makes sense there.
Absolutely. Partnerships that enable easy real-world payments using stablecoins on established networks like Stellar. That's how you drive actual usage and show the practical benefits beyond speculation.
Okay, and speaking of utility, Oku is bringing Bitcoin-backed lending to the Corn network via Morpho.
More DeFi integration. Using Bitcoin as collateral for lending and borrowing is becoming more common across different chains and protocols.
So Bitcoin's role in DeFi just keeps expanding.
It seems so. Even though it wasn't originally designed for complex smart contracts, its status as the original crypto and a major store of value makes it attractive collateral. So platforms are finding ways to wrap it or bridge it into DeFi ecosystems.
Got it. Now, unfortunately, not all news is good. A hack reported by KiloX.
Yeah, a $7 million hack apparently reported to Hong Kong police.
Another reminder of the risks.
It really is. Security is just paramount. These incidents keep happening, and it underscores why exchanges need top-notch security and users need to be incredibly careful with their assets and credentials. Involving the police shows they're taking it seriously, at least.
Right. And there's also some drama around Base. They promoted a meme token on Zora that then crashed.
Yeah, crashed hard, like 95%, though it apparently recovered some ground later. But yeah, there was backlash against Base for highlighting it.
Because it implies an endorsement.
Kind of, yeah. When a major platform or chain promotes or features a token, especially a highly speculative meme coin, it can be seen as lending it credibility. And when it crashes, people feel misled. It's a cautionary tale about the crazy volatility of meme coins and maybe the responsibility platforms have.
Tread carefully in meme land. Okay, better news. Shardium. Their Layer 1 token launch is confirmed.
Yep, confirmed for May 5th. That's a big step for them.
Launching the mainnet token, finally.
Exactly. It moves from testnet and development to a live, functioning network. A big milestone for their team and community. Opens up new possibilities and challenges too, of course.
And one last piece of news, potentially huge. Reports that Binance is talking to countries about setting up strategic Bitcoin reserves.
Whoa, okay, that's interesting. Strategic National Reserves of Bitcoin, facilitated by Binance.
That's the report. What would that even mean?
If true, I mean, that could be a game changer on a geopolitical level. Nations holding Bitcoin like they hold gold or foreign currency. It would be a massive validation and could fundamentally shift how Bitcoin is viewed and integrated into the global financial system. Huge implications.
Wow. Definitely something to watch closely.
For sure.
So as we've seen, just another busy period in crypto. We've got market swings, major investments like A16Zs, ongoing tech challenges like quantum computing, new platforms, regulatory moves, hacks, partnerships. It never stops.
It really doesn't. The pace of change is just relentless. Technology, adoption, regulation, everything's evolving constantly.
Which means staying informed is absolutely key if you want to understand what's happening and, navigate this space.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, that's a wrap for this update. Join Daily Crypto for more real-time market updates.